We're going to take a look at a technique when you're down inside the red zone. It's something that you guys might want to go ahead and try. Probably some of you guys probably have already tried it and had success with it. And this is basically the goal line fade. And what we're going to do is we're going to come out in a gun snugs flip, and we're using the Texans and the Texans playbook. And the reason I'm doing that is because these receivers are taller than anything that I could have, or at least, let me refrain that. There's a couple receivers just as tall in the, like on the Broncos. But the thing is, these guys also have high catch and traffic ratings, which makes it that much more easier to do. So that's why we're using the Texans. We're using the play called the gun snugs flip stick. And again, you can pretty much run this with just about any play as long as you have a receiver run the fade route. So what I'm going to go ahead and show you is how I like to run it when I'm running this particular play down inside the inside the 10-yard line. I believe the ball's lined up right around the 5. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and hot route Johnson on a fade route. So I'm hitting the Y button and up on the right stick. If you're playing on the PlayStation 3, that's a triangle, and up on the right stick. Then I'm simply just going to go ahead and motion him to the outside, and he's running that fade route over there towards the left. And then what I want to do is when I snap that ball, I want to wait till he breaks up in that area there, and then I want to throw it and lob it up in the air and let him come down with it. Now, more often than not, he's going to come down with it. I realize on that one he didn't, but he should be in position most of the time to come down with that. Same thing again. And especially with a receiver like him, he's tall enough to out-jump most of these defenders. Okay, and then we're just going to let him come down with it again. And then it comes down with it on that one. So, actually wind up dropping at the end of there. But let's go and do the same thing again. Go ahead and motion him out to the outside. And basically, you just wait until he breaks out to the outside. And you can press at the 11 and maybe 12 o'clock position. Here I'm going to do it at the 11 o'clock position. And then he comes up making that catch at the 11 o'clock. The other two throws I was throwing at the 12. But if you throw at the 11 o'clock, it's going to angle it more towards the end zone than it would if you did it at the 12. Same thing again. So we'll just go ahead and do it at the 11 o'clock again. Kind of a bad snap there, but that's all right. And then we're just going to get him up there and get up in that air. And again, that's at the 11 o'clock position. So you can kind of see how effective that would be when you're doing it. And I'm never taking control of the receiver. All I'm doing is just throwing at the 11 o'clock position or the 12. In this case, the last two throws have been at the 11. Let's go do it again at the 11 position. And same thing, wait till he fades out to the outside and then just throw it up there. And most of the time he's going to come down with it. That's pretty much it on that. You can pretty much get away with this most of the time if you got the receiver to do it. If you got a receiver who's not as good, then there's a good chance that they're not going to pull it down as often as that. So, or a quarterback, maybe the quarterback might throw it off occasionally. But as far as doing this in the gun snugs flip, all you want to do is just hot route that receiver on a fade and then simply just motion to the outside. And again, you're going to throw it to 12 o'clock or the 11 o'clock position. Right now, we're having more success, obviously, at the 11. And there's another 11 o'clock throw right there. So that time ball winds up getting knocked down. But 3 out of 4 times at the 11 o'clock position, I completed it. Let's do it one more time at the 12 o'clock. And let's see what happens here. And when I say 12 o'clock, look at your controller as a clock when you're making that throw. And pretend like it's 12, like it's a clock, and you throw it to 12, so basically straight up. And if you're throwing it at 11 o'clock, a little bit off to the left when you're making that throw. So let's go ahead and throw it to 12. There's a 12 o'clock throw right there. And there's a 12. So basically what I'm trying to show you is pretty nice and pretty effective. Again, you really don't have to take control of the receiver. You're just going to just lob it up there and let him go get himself. Let the computer take over. If you really want that to happen. Some of you guys may not want to have that to happen. Maybe you want to take control of that guy. I'm just telling you, you don't have to with this particular play. So he goes inside. He gets in that area there. Let's kind of zoom in a little bit. Let's kind of actually click on him. There he goes. And then he's going to come around right there, and he's going to make that catch right there. So you kind of see how that works. I'm getting a little bit out of control there. Right there, you can see how he goes up for it right there. Let's go back over here again. That's not a very good zoom in on what I'm trying to show. All right. This time we can actually take control of him this time and actually see him. Okay. Now we're right on him. Okay, here he goes. About that point right there, I'm throwing the ball at that point. And he just comes around, fades, and you can see that he's going to jump up. And the way the game is this year, these in zone coverage, a lot of times these corners don't even go up with the ball anyways. And even if they did, with Johnson, he's so darn tall, most of the time he's going to wind up coming down with it anyways. So, again, this is the goal line fade. If you're not doing it already, I suggest you go ahead go inside the lab and mess around with it quite a bit and see if you can start using it because, like I said, against zone coverage, it's real effective. So, again, the goal line fade.